In this video, I'm going to show the Dark Devotion deck from Betrayers of Kamigawa. It's got 2 of Bile Urshan and 3 of Hearth Kami. Bile Urshan is a 1-drop spirit. And you can sacrifice it and the target player loses 1 life. Otherwise, it's a 1/1/1. That's pretty clean. Hearth Kami, it's a 2/2/1. A little bit aggro as is typical for red. And there's an X, an additional cost, where if you sacrifice it, you can destroy target artifact with converted mana cost X. That could be good. Then you've got 3 of Takenuma Bleeder, and you've got 3 of Villainous Ogre. Very old school artwork, especially in the case of Villainous Ogre. Really old school. Takenuma Bleeder is a 3-drop, and so is Villainous Ogre. They're both ogres. In the case of Takenuma, it's a 3/3/3. Whenever it attacks or blocks, you lose 1 life if you don't control a demon. That's very specific. That doesn't read very playable to me. In the case of Villainous, as long as you control a demon, Villainous Ogre has pay 1 swamp, regenerate Villainous Ogre, and it's a 3/3/2. That's not terrible. Bloodthirsty Ogre 1, Shinka Gatekeeper 1 of it. They're both 3-drops. In the case of Bloodthirsty, these are both ogres. In the case of Bloodthirsty, if you tap it, you can put a devotion counter on it. Then it's really a 3/3/1, so it's really aggro. Then if you tap it again to get the counters out, target creature gets -X/-X until end of turn, where X is the number of devotion counters on Bloodthirsty Ogre. Play this ability only if you control a demon. That's a restriction for some of these ogre abilities. Then in the case of Shinka Gatekeeper, whenever Shinka Gatekeeper is dealt damage, it deals damage to you. 3/3/2. So it really gives whoever attacks you trample. That doesn't sound that great. Scourge of Numai, 2 of them. And then Blood Speaker, 1 of them. In the case of Scourge, it's a demon spirit. It's a 4/4/4. At the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 2 life if you don't control an ogre. There's a restriction, but if you've got demons and ogres like you do in this deck, you better do that. In the case of Blood Speaker, it's a 4/3/2, an ogre. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may sacrifice Blood Speaker. If you do, search your library for a demon card, reveal that card, and put it into your hand. Then shuffle your library. That's pretty good. It's really a tutor at 4/3/2. Whenever a demon comes into play under your control, return Blood Speaker from your graveyard to your hand. That's also very useful. Definitely a situational card that works really well for this particular deck. Then we have Initiate of Blood, a 4-drop, 2/2. And Yukora the Prisoner, a 4-drop, 5/5. Yukora is a legendary creature. That's very nice. Love these legendaries. 4/5/5. That's really good. When at least play, sacrifice all non-ogre creatures you control. So when somebody kills this, they're basically killing everything that is not an ogre in your deck. But some of the ogres have demon triggered abilities, so you gotta be very careful with this card. You probably want to play all ogres. Then Initiate of Blood is a 4/2/2. Deals 1 damage to target creature that was dealt damage this turn. When that creature is put into a graveyard this turn, flip Initiate of Blood. That's a very, very specific ability to turn this thing. I could see it not working often. Then if you flip it, then it becomes a 4/4/4. And then when you tap it, it deals 4 damage to target creature that was dealt damage this turn. That's very situational. You'd have to be in a very specific situation for that to work. 1 of Zokensan Bruiser and 2 of Pain Racker Oni. Zokensan Bruiser is a 5/3/3 with Mountain Walk. And I don't remember exactly how Mountain Walk works. but I think it can only be blocked by red or artifacts, if I remember correctly. Pain Racker Oni has Fear, which I think it's called Intimidate these days, and it's a 5/5/4. And at the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice a creature if you don't control an ogre. And this one's a demon, so you're gonna have to have ogres, like, as you do in this deck. Here's an ogre, two of them. Frost Ogre, two of them, and then Heartless Hidetsugu, legendary creature, and ogre also. They're both 5-drops. Frost Ogre is a 5/5/3 vanilla, little weak. Heartless Hidetsugu is a 5-drop 4/3, also weak, but when you tap it, it deals to each player damage equal to half that player's life total, rounded down. Wow, that could really hurt somebody. Death Curse Ogre, there's one. Swallowing Plague, there's two. Death Curse Ogre is a 6/3/3. When it's put into a graveyard from play, each player, and that must include you, loses 3 life. That's not that great. I think I pulled this card in another pack. Swallowing Plague is an X Swamp sorcery, uncommon, and it deals X damage to target creature, and you gain X life. That could be pretty good. Then you have 1 Overblaze and 2 Torrent of Stone. Overblaze, both are arcanes. They're both 4-drops. Each time target player would deal damage to a creature or player this turn, it deals double that damage to that creature or player instead. So you have to pick a permanent, be one of yours, hopefully. And you can use it to splice onto arcane. A little heavy as an additional 4-drop to do splice onto arcane, but then you don't need to play it. The other one, Torrent, when you splice it, you have to sacrifice 2 mountains. That's very painful. Torrent of Stone deals 4 damage to target creature. It seems like a desperate move. 2 Call of Blood, 2 Oni Possession. Call of Blood is a 5-drop instant, and as an additional drop, you have you have to sacrifice a creature. Target creature gets -X/-X until end of turn, where X is the sacrificed creature's power. So you're basically exchanging one of your creatures for theirs. That's the same CMC, or at least the same -X/-X. Actually, it's just the power. Oni Possession is a 3-drop enchantment creature, which is really called these days enchantment aura. At the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice a creature. Enchanted creature gets +3/+3 and has trample. And enchanted creature is a demon spirit. That's very useful because of all these conditions that we've been seeing, where you want to have demons around to satisfy specific conditions. Then Mark of the Oni, one of them, and Kumano's Blessing, one of them. They're both 3-drops. Mark of the Oni is an enchantment aura, black. You get to control the enchanted creature. End of turn, if you control no demons, sacrifice Mark of the Oni. It's great to be able to control a creature, especially if it wasn't yours. In the case of Kumano, you're also going to enchant a creature with it. You may play this card anytime you could play an instant, so it's got haste. If a creature dealt damage by an enchanted creature this turn would be put into a graveyard, remove it from the game, meaning exile it. So you want to enchant something you own for this case.